Hello, I'm Jim Schwab, manager of APA's Hazards Planning Research Center. We're here at the APA National Planning Conference in Boston 2011. And I have with me in the APA Pavilion here Miki Schmidt, Nicholas J. Schmidt to be formal, who is Division Chief for Geospatial Services for the Coastal Services Center of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, known for short as NOAA. And Miki has been working with APA on a program called Digital Coast. APA is a Digital Coast partner. That means that we're one of 6 organizations involved in both assessing new products and tools that Digital Coast produces, as well as helping to disseminate that technology to user audiences like planners. So, Miki, could you first just give us a brief description of what Digital Coast is, how it came to be, how it functions?
Sure, thank you, Jim. Digital Coast is, in a nutshell, an integrated suite of geospatial data, tools, training, and best practices to better enable the coastal resource management community to address the various issues that they're trying to address. And in the design of this project and partnership, the goal was to overcome common barriers that the management and planning community are constantly trying to address. For example, clean access, easy access to all the data that are available. There's a history of issues of users being able to easily access the information in a format that they can then ingest it and apply it into their everyday work practices. Another significant barrier was the training programs needed for their staff. So, for example, there's lots of data available from the internet, but it's very difficult sometimes to understand how to apply those to everyday issues. So there's a whole training curriculum built into the Digital Coast, as well as best practices and case studies around the country of applying those data and tools to address the various issues. So the goal was to provide a platform, an integrated suite of capabilities to enhance the ability for the communities to address their issues.
Could you tell us a little more for particularly planners in the APA audience about the value of engaging a number of partners like APA, Association of State Floodplain Managers, and so forth, how that part works?
Absolutely. It's actually the power behind the whole Digital Coast effort is the partnership or the steering committee that we formed with the various organizations such as APA, and as you mentioned, the Association of State Floodplain Managers. Other members are the National Association of Counties and the Coastal States Organization, the Nature Conservancy, and the state GIS coordinators, better known as NISGIC, or the National States Geographic Information Council. And having this diverse group of organizations representing their various members has been, as I said, the power behind the understanding the needs and the requirements of this community. So the Digital Coast then works very hard to capture the information needed to address those requirements. So for example, a community trying to better plan for coastal hazards, or community development, balancing the needs of economic development versus environmental concerns is what is really one of the main things the Digital Coast Partnership tries to address. And so by having the input from the various constituent groups, we then know with the limited resources that we as a federal agency have to apply to acquiring data or disseminating data or developing certain tools. These groups voice the opinions of their membership and help us prioritize where we're going to apply resources.
So you get actually much better feedback than federal agencies often typically get for the kinds of products and services that they attempt to provide.
Well, it's I don't know if it's better. It's definitely very focused on addressing the coastal issues and the coastal management and planning issues. So it enables us to really focus in on the primary issues. So
okay.
Yes.
Good. You've probably noticed since you've been here that there's considerable and growing emphasis at the APA conference on issues of addressing hazards, of climate change, How do you see Digital Coast helping communities to become more resilient, to be able to effectively address these kinds of issues?
Yeah, I have noticed that, Jim, actually. And some of the things offered through Digital Coast are tools to prepare and visualize, for example, the potential impacts of sea level rise. Mm-hmm. So there's a new sea level rise impacts viewer that's been just created. We're working on the Gulf of Mexico right now with plans to move around the country. And what that enables a community or a planner to do is to visualize what the potential impact, not only where the water would go, but then also the socioeconomic impacts of the local community. So visualizing, here's what 2 feet or 3 feet of sea level rise would look like and where the water would be, but then also what is that economic impact to the businesses and the people living there. So that's one tool that is available through the Digital Coast for local officials to utilize. The other, and more recently, with the significant tsunami event out in the Pacific off the coast of Japan, we had worked to develop a hazard assessment tool for some of the Pacific islands. So, for example, American Samoa. When the earthquake struck, there was an automatic tsunami warning issued for the Pacific region. And within the first 24 hours, the Samoans accessed over 100,000 Samoans accessed this hazard assessment tool to determine whether or not they were in danger. So they could click on their address and visualize the tsunami impact zone that was projected for their property. So real-time tools as well as forecast tools are offered through the Digital Coast.
Great. Any other concluding observations you'd like to offer us in terms of the partnership between APA and Digital Coast?
We're very excited to have APA having joined the Digital Coast partnership just last year, and we're entering into the second year. So we're really looking forward to incorporating the results of the survey that APA conducted of its membership to help guide the future development and direction of the effort. So we appreciate you guys being on board.
Well, we certainly appreciate the opportunity to be part of it and certainly enjoy participating in Digital Coast. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you.